Omaha Public Works is looking into a sewer pipe that collapsed near 116th and Q Street. Here's a look at the scene. The issue was discovered yesterday morning. It's not yet clear, though, how much sewage escaped the system. People are now being advised to stay away from the water at both Hell Creek as well as West Papillion Creek downstream of Harrison Street. The notice will remain in effect until further notice.